cemented the game for LIU as it gave them a 2-possession lead. And now let's see what the Blackbirds can do against a resilient Sacred Heart team that is fighting for its playoff life here this afternoon.
Joseph Lopez, a senior, will tip it off against Coleman at center circle. Left to right to start this one off. The final home game, final regular season game of the year is underway. Jay-Sean Augusto with the new hairstyle today. We've now gotten, I think that's the 6th of this year. We'll see how this one works out. Works over to Hernandez, top of the key. Nice move down the lane, puts a soft shot off glass and good. And that's a sign you love to see.
It certainly is. First shot, a wild one, maybe forced. One thing I did notice, the Blackbirds did not have to counter a zone. And on that first possession, Sacred Heart started in a 2-3.
Sean Hohen works to his right. LaRose on the box. Joseph Lopez again pops it out back top to Robinson. Three-pointer good. Right off the mark for Chris Robinson, who on the season just 13% from downtown.
Last time out, Sacred Heart a season-high 61% in that win on Thursday against Bryant. Big fella showing off the range early on.
Here's Joel. Pulls up at the elbow, nothing there. Back out to Raekwon, second leading scorer in that game a few weeks back, and a great left-hand move into the lane to lay it up for two.
One change for Derek Kellogg. Julius Van Sowers not starting tonight. Zach Coleman in there instead.
And there's Joel with a block all the way out, but still in control for Sacred Heart. Hohen works inside, up top to LaRose, to his left. Now Robinson, deep down the block. Matasevic puts it up, no good. Rebound brought down by Clark.
Julius had started the last 18 games. The Blackbirds had gone 10-8 when he had been in the lineup, but I thought Zach Coleman was one of their most impressive players at both ends of the floor on Thursday night.
And again, senior day, all three seniors are starting, so that could also be part of the reason as well to give them the chance here as Hernandez's shot is off the mark and tipped out of bounds off the hands of Coleman. Now, they've been two nice additions to bring in after you lost so much talent last year in Frank Nurazana, and they fit in perfectly to this system. Obviously, Coleman had played under Derek Kellogg, so he knew what he was coming into, and almost like a second coach on the team to kind of get these guys to buy into the system. Here's Lopez inside, little baby hook off the back iron, backboard, and falls through. Sacred Heart back in front, 5-4.
Now, Robinson's giving you some spark off the bench as the three-point shooter, with Raul Frias serving as kind of a backup complimentary role. And Coleman's been one of your better shot blockers as well as rebounders. So even though he hasn't been a huge scoring threat, he has given you that extra presence at the defensive end.
Great entry pass now. Quadruple team.
Oh, man.
Hernandez puts it up and in, guarded by 4 players. Joel's having a great start.
What else can you do to body up on the guy? The defensive help was there, and he was able to fight through it and keep his footing.
There's Robinson with a nice tip inside, but Hohen's able to get the ball back. Still loose, and Sacred Heart gets it back on the helter-skelter pace. They work down low. Nice pass in the lane. Lopez to the hole. Can't get it to go too strong off the back iron. Still did not hit the iron, so it was just the board. Shot clock at 5. Robinson for 3. Straight on, no good. Tipped up by LIU's Robinson and brought down in control of the Blackbirds. Quickly. Clark, baseline.
That was eerily similar to a lot of possessions in the second half on Thursday, where they would give up the 3 and then the long rebound out where they just didn't get bodies out to the rebound.
Here's Augusto to respond for 3, and it's good. LIU by 4.
Just 32% from downtown coming in for Jay-Sean, but his numbers have gotten better as time's gone on. 14 in the first half on Thursday, 4 of them from 3.
Three-pointer on the right wing. Front iron rolls over. No good. Coleman the rebound. Quickly, LIU wants to push ahead. This might be too far. Nice save. And somehow Robinson picked up the loose ball.
It's like one of the coaches stuck his hand out.
Hernandez from downtown, and he nails it. LIU 12-5 lead. Timeout, Sacred Heart. Boy, LIU got every bounce they could. The pass was off the mark. It was a great throwback in. Tipped by Coleman to the near sideline, and somehow Robinson just got a hand. And exactly the same. I thought one of the assistant coaches for Sacred Heart
nudged it back in, didn't it?
It looked like it. Optical illusion for us, but, you know, from this angle at least, LIU will take it with 16:06. And a quick pace, 7 points already for Joel on 3 of 4 shooting. That was one thing, though, Joel, in that game, 30 points. He did not shoot very well back on February 1st as I was looking at the numbers. 9 of 20 in that game, but he did have 6 rebounds, 30 points, and 1 assist with 3 turnovers. Raekwon Clark had 12 points that game, but he had a tough game in the 12 turnovers. So he kind of offset, even though he had a lot of bad shooting, he didn't matter. If you're going to score 30 points, you don't mind if he's taking all those shots.
And so far this month, Joel has shot 50% or better in 5 out of 6 games. That one came against Sacred Heart, and yet the Blackbirds were still able to win that game. Of course, we talked about it shortly after it happened. They had a 16-point lead in the second half of that game. The Pioneers cut it to 2. So even though they're down by 7 in the early going, they still have a run in them. And we know, based on the way a lot of these home games have gone, it's going to be tighter sooner rather than later.
Right, and it's funny how it is a tale of 2 seasons with this team. At home, 9-4 LIU. They did have a couple of tough losses that they'll look back and regret if they don't get a home game out of this tournament. But on the road, 4-11, and a few of those games they had opportunities to win as well. If you could flip a few of those over, all of a sudden you're at a plus 500 mark, and you're also a couple more games up in the league. I tell you, this is, as we've said many times, the Northeast Conference is so even of a league from almost every year 2 to 8. You'll have one dominant team.
Nice drop off.
Nice pass inside, little soft shot, no good by Lopez, brought down by Coleman again for another rebound.
That's 2 of 8 to start for the Pioneers. A lot of their looks coming in the paint.
Robinson, great move through traffic in the left-handed finger roll off the glass.
Sometimes you sleep on his speed because he is shifty to the hoop for a bigger guard. Most of his shots have come from 3, but right there, nice drive.
Here's Chris Robinson, tipped away. Hernandez has the ball.
That was a great switch by Agosto.
And a strip and then a kick by Hernandez, but they're going to get a reach-in foul on Chris Robinson, that is, of Sacred Heart. Pioneers head coach Anthony Latina. 10-20 on the year, 5-12 in the conference. Again, if Central Connecticut loses and they win, they will solidify their spot in the tournament.
And like you said, the expectations coming in are different and things always change. Sacred Heart was the preseason number 5.
Raekwon from 17 on the elbow. Good for 2, and LIU by 11 with 15:08 to go.
7 of 8 to start and 2 for 2 from 3. Can't draw it up any better if you're Derek Kellogg.
Charles Tucker Jr. in the game. Right now for Sacred, he gets the ball in the corner. Kind of a weird knuckleball 3 up, no good. Brought down by Lopez. He'll spin around and put it up with the left hand and responds for 2.
See, that's what kills you when you have that high rebound off a not a good shot out of the corner.
Joel, fall away, no good. Rebound by Matasovic. Here comes Tucker. Weird dribble as well. Very unorthodox play, but it'll work into Lopez. Back out and traveling by Tucker. Have a weird herky-jerky motion with his shot, also with his dribble, but
I thought he had a chance at another 3.
Yes. But instead, LIU will get it back up 9 with 14:23 to go in the first half. Here at the Wellness Center on Senior Day, final regular season day of the Northeast Conference play.
This is without question the longest Derek has kept his starters in, and right there's why. Everybody's getting involved. Great ball movement, and Coleman right there for the flush.
Yeah, he got behind. That was the pick and roll that burnt them in the past. But that was a very athletic pick and roll as Tucker steps in on side of the line. Works around to his left. Hohen tries to work in the box. Nowhere to go. They'll go back out. Lopez and a Tucker on the far side. Matasovic back to Hohen. 6 to shoot. He's going to take the 3 from 22. No. Matasovic, the rebound, stripped by Joel. Picked up by Robinson. Up to Clark. Clark, what a move. Can't get the roll to fall, but gets his own rebound.
That's
and
a great
pulls
play.
Out. What a great play. You're right by Clark. Hernandez for 3. No good. Rebound tipped all the way out. Here's Robinson again. Baseline jumper good from 18. They're getting every bounce going right back to them.
3rd time's the charm, and Robinson with that little pullback on the baseline. Beautiful touch.
20-7 LIU by 13. With 13:07 to go.
Really good pressure.
Tucker Up top, LaRose, good defense, but LaRose steps to his left, takes the three, but doesn't hit it. But that was all defense as Robinson got out there quickly.
Watch the one-on-one.
Hernandez, step back three, no good off the back iron. Joel's gone a little bit cold last couple minutes, but still you like to have him take those shots when he has the confidence.
Still waiting on that first smile, by the way. Keeping an eye out for that.
Owen up to Tucker. Around to LaRose. Owen again. Baseline rotation, reverse layup. Great spin, can't get the English. Another rebound for Zach Coleman.
What a discrepancy in shooting the basketball. That was one of their better looks. They're just not getting them to drop.
Here's Jay Sean. Great move in the lane with a left hand for two.
All of this without Julian Batts.
Quickly, a defensive breakdown at the other end, and Matasevic with an easy layup. Exactly what we talked about, semi-pick and roll, getting back free.
22 points.
Here's Robinson for three, and it's good. Another one. LIU with 25 points. As you just said, we're not even 10 minutes into the game.
This is like the Central game for Jamal. 7 points, 3 for 3, and how about a triple to boot?
In the lane, Hohen lost the ball. No, they'll get a foul or reach in on one of the Blackbirds with 11:31.
Yeah, they got Coleman. It was a late whistle, but it was the right call. He fouled him, no question. Great action in the early going. Not a lot of whistles, and finally a stoppage with 11 and a half left.
Other action will be later today. St. Francis against Central. St. Francis of Brooklyn, that is, against Central. Wagner against Mount St. Mary's. And then Robert Morris and St. Francis of PA later on tonight at 7. $11:31 to go here at our second media timeout. The first media timeout was wiped out by the timeout, but very quick pace for LIU, much like we've seen them do all season, and really working well against this team. Will Sacred Heart go to more of a zone? Because this is really very effective for LIU against this man-to-man.
You know, I think it's got to be disheartening when you're a team like Sacred Heart, and the Blackbirds found this out the hard way at Wagner last Saturday. When you fall behind that early, and when the home team is hitting all of its shots, it's very tough to come back. And even though this building really isn't filled up like it was on Thursday night, the Blackbirds can run away with it in this building. They've done it at times. I think about the performance against St. Francis U when they led wire to wire against an explosive offensive team. Sacred Heart does not have that kind of firepower. They're the 9th best scoring offense in the NEC. So unless they can generate some stops here, this could be a long afternoon ahead.
It really could. And that you mentioned that game earlier this year against St. Francis of Pennsylvania. That was something just impressive that they really hadn't done in prior seasons. Just put the pedal to the metal. And this is the kind of game that feels that way because everything's bouncing their way. They're getting the rebounds, they're getting the tips. Only one foul on the board. As at the free throw line, Sean Hohen, 78% on the season, hits the first. Finally, Sacred Heart into double figures. Hits them both, 25-11.
And Hohen's the guy to do it after that career performance, 31 in the win on Thursday against Bryant. Very disappointing season for the Bulldogs, and a coaching change coming up at season's end. Tim O'Shea stepping down when all is said and done.
Right, did it on his own terms.
Yep.
I'm glad to be able to finish out the season because he took that program from Division II all the way up to where it is now. So it's sad to see him go as a foul against Sacred Heart because he built that program to what it was, but it might be just time at this point for Bryant to step forward and try to make the next step in the Northeast Conference.
And a name that could resurface for that job, and I'd be curious to get your thoughts, could Jack Perry be returning to the NEC as a New England guy with the job right up there in Smithfield?
Perfect spot for him. He's an assistant coach at BU right now, still in the area, still recruits up there. And would the Texas Pipeline move down there, as we remember here for so long? Mm-hmm. Underneath, shot blocked. Raekwon Clark hobbles his way back. Tucker lost the basketball, but Clark, because he was hobbled, was still down the end. He'll jam it down for two. And Clark looks to be okay. Kind of a fortunate situation what happened there, but Raekwon Clark still looks like he's favoring that right knee a little bit. 27-11, 10:38 to go, first half. LIU and Sacred Heart.
And if I'm Sacred Heart, I'm getting it to Davon Barnett right away. Clark still gripping his right leg.
Hohen to Tucker. Now down low.
Tough shot.
And Asiki, who's into the game, no good. Rebound brought down by Joel. Skipped across Augusto. Right wing, Robinson for three. Back rim, pops up and won't fall. Instead goes into the hands of Chris Robinson for Sacred Heart. Pushed ahead. Asiki underneath lays it in for two. EJ Asiki, the 6'7 freshman from East Orange, New Jersey, with his first bucket of the game.
Always great to see the underclassmen making an impact, getting some big minutes here as they try and cut into this 14-point deficit.
Joel, great move, tough shot, gets the friendly bounce in the roll. Waiting for that smile still, but he's looking the other way. He may have done it this time. Underneath, what a move and reverse layup by Davon Barnett.
Davon recently joined the 1,000-point club. He's had a nice senior season. He needed 16 on February 10th, and he got it. He's had a couple of double-figure games this year.
Here's Robinson, top of the key. Skip back move. Coleman fires a long three. No good. Barnett with the rebound. Points and rebounds on two straight possessions there for Davon. Tucker, nice pass to Hohen. He'll take it strong to the lane. Puts it up wide with the left hand so Coleman couldn't block it.
First time the Pioneers have scored on back-to-back possessions. All the while, the Blackbirds have missed their last 3 threes after starting 3 for 3 from downtown.
Still a 12-point lead for the Blackbirds. Here's Joel trying to work on Robinson, and we're going to get an offensive foul.
Man. I don't know about that. That was light. And I know you can call it. They did, obviously, but we've seen a lot worse from Joel Hernandez and no whistle.
I think the fact that Robinson stopped and was stationary and then moved again kind of may have played into the role as well. Did a little acting on there, but it was a borderline one, but call was made. That's just the second foul on LIU and the first on the Joel Hernandez as Hohen with the bucket.
Hohen's a nice little player, very shifty, couple of easy drives. Batson Van Sowers into the game for the first time.
Robinson in the corner for three. In and out, no good. They're just rolling in and out, too. It's not like they're missing them badly.
Shot looks good today.
Up top, Barnett. Back rim too strong. Here's Batts with a rebound.
We have seen some odd shots.
Batts with a tough pass picked off in the lane by Asiki. Hohen. Quick pass too strong. Looking to find Asiki on the give and go. It goes right by him. So LIU kind of got fortunate on the last two possessions defensively. Wasn't really great defensively per se, but first off a miss, a good rebound, and then a poor pass.
I was talking about the releases of Davon Barnett, and you talked about Charles Tucker Jr. Very unconventional. Stop, go to the side, and then push. It's a lot of movement, a lot of mechanical functioning going on in those shots.
Again, it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as it goes in, so if he's doing it and playing at the level he is, you can't really complain. Batts gets free for a three. Little short, tipped in the air, and they're going to get over the back on Van Sowers on the rebound. 7:38 to go here in the first half, 29-19. LIU still by 10. We'll step aside for a moment here at the under 8 timeout. You're listening to LIU basketball on NEC Front Row. Welcome back to the Wellness Center. Joel Hernandez still leads all scorers with 9 points. Very balanced score sheet after that. Robinson with 7, Clark with 6, Augusto with 5, and Zach Coleman with 2. On the other side, it's Hohen and Lopez leading the scorers 6 and 4. Robinson with 3. Barnett, Anasiki, and Matasovic with 2 apiece. 29-19, 7:34 to go. First half here at the Wellness Center.
Augusto with a tough assignment on Hohen.
Alex Watson tries to work on Julian Batts. Able to get it back. 12 to shoot.
Watch the hands.
Batts all over. Watson 9 to shoot. Picks up the dribble. Now works up top to Barnett. 5 to shoot. Has to do something. Here's Robinson. 2 to shoot. Fires it at the buzzer. Not even going to hit anything. It's an air ball, and great defensive end for LIU.
Everybody handled their assignment on that sequence. That was as good as it gets. There were a couple of switches, and then you had Frias staying with his men and not getting the hand on that three-point attempt. That's the last thing you wanted to see, and Frias made sure it didn't happen.
Batts to Hernandez, works his way in the lane. Tough shot, gets free. Little scooper. Oh, and he gets the friendly roll for 2.
More often than not, he has this year. It's been that kind of season.
He does. It really has. I hate to use that word, a magical season. There it is. There it is. We got the smile.
There it is.
There it is. He's happy. And again, after a shot like that, you have to be. When you turn around and see yourself that wide open and able to flip it up and get it. But
Davon Barnett just came off for Sacred Heart. He knocked over a chair on his way off beyond the bench. I don't know what happened.
Hopefully he's okay. And a collision between Hone and Augusto on the transfer pass from Matasovic. And Jay Sean's going to pick up his first. Just the 14th foul. And you said this right now. This game flying by here in the first half. No fouls. Really not a lot of stops of action. It's been a very, very good game so far. Even though LIU's up by 12, it doesn't feel like it's that big of a lead. Short rim three-pointer. No good. And Hohen stole it away from Frias on the rebound. And then it tipped back up, and Raul picks it up this time, holds on to it, still able to get free, finally hands off to Augusto.
Some panic settled in for a moment. Wow.
Joel. Mugged underneath and no call, but picked away.
Get back on D, Joel.
Into the lane, put off glass, no, tipped up. Rebound by Anasiki. Strong dribble on the floor, back up strong, man. And puts it down for 2.
That's a grown man play right there. All the easy misses from up in close, right. And then you get that one to fall. That is something that Sacred Heart needed, and they got it at a good time.
Anasiki with really the oldest play in the book. And I go back to my basketball camp days 35 some odd years ago. Okay. The Moses Malone play.
Yes.
Take the rebound down, the strong dribble, and then go back up because you're going to get fouled. That's exactly why he did that, and Moses Malone made a career of that. And I told you, I need to upgrade my NBA players to more modern, but that's where I learned the game. So I'll try to get a little, maybe a little sooner. Maybe I can get up to like a Detlef Schrempf now instead.
That's,
you know?
Yeah, you're really getting recent now on me.
But in fairness, that center position, which is in college is played still, isn't in the NBA anymore. So you really don't have that. These guys all play forward. You know, you look at what you look at the bigger players in the league, and it's amazing that you don't have that standalone center that you do. As Frias in the circle from 19, straight on, nails it for 2.
Talk about standalone. Raul getting an opportunity. Beautiful touch from the top of the key.
Chris Robinson, nice move in the lane. Tries to pass, tipped away to Hohen, though. Gains the handle. Nice dribbling. Puts up a tough shot. Oh, it won't go. Halfway down and popped out. Rebound, Eral Penn.
I cannot wait to see Eral Penn put some weight on as his career continues.
Batts gets away with a travel, and then
he has a chance to me to be an all-conference player down the line. He's not there yet. He's still very raw, but you see the energy that he brings. We've talked about that all year, that physical presence, and he's been very efficient when he shot the basketball, over 70% from the field all year.
If he can get another 20 pounds of muscle on there, you're right. He's gonna be something else. Augusto backs up the 3, well short. Saved from going out of bounds at the last moment just for the heck of it by Lopez.
Lopez just showing off.
Yeah. Well, you let it go out. You don't have a chance to set up. Now they did. Here's LaRose on the far sideline. Back over to Matasovic, and the pass off the mark. Where was he throwing it to? I think he thought Hohen was going to streak back to the center court line, but instead he stayed stationary. And
the other takeaway from Thursday night was the fact that LIU committed 15 turnovers in the first half, and right now they have 2.
Two-pointer for LIU, foot on the line. So LIU extends their lead to 14 here.
They cleaned that up big time in the second half. Only 5 turnovers after halftime.
8 turnovers right now for Sacred Heart. It's a three-pointer, no good. Another rebound for Bats. LIU keeping the heat on. Frias in motion for 3, and it's good.
The vision by Bats to notice the trailer was unbelievable because he had a player in front of him and realized that Frias could catch and step right into it.
Last year, Bats wanted to step out of the shadow of Jay Sean Augusto. This year, he certainly has. It can't be said enough. They're the 2 best guards in the conference, and they're both on the same team.
I think what's nice about them is that they're interchangeable.
Yes.
One guy can give you the passing on one night, and then the other guy will step in just 2 days later. It's a nice balance, and a conversation that I had with someone recently where they said that if you give Derek Kellogg a good point guard, look out, and he's got 2 of them.
Yes. Hohen gets free off the shot. It rolls in and out, no good, but a rebound brought down by LaRose. Boy, Sacred Heart cannot buy a bucket right now with 3:50 to go in the first half. Tucker, pull up, 3, good. Finally breaks a little of the ice there for Sacred Heart.
Just 2 of 11 from downtown, and like you said, a lot of them hanging on the rim and just popping off at the last second. That basket to the left has not done any favors.
Jay Sean outside the line to Bats, and he picks up a ticky-tack foul on Hohen with 3:27 to go. That'll get us to our final media timeout of the first half. And what has been a very entertaining first half, even though it's a 14-point game, it seems like Sacred Heart kind of hanging around. It's not that they're playing badly, just not hitting shots. 35%, while LIU is shooting 58% from the floor, 17 of 29. And again, 4 of 10 from downtown, 2 of 11 for Sacred Heart. There's a difference in the ball game.
Sacred Heart trying to get to the tournament for the 4th consecutive year, but coming here to LIU, that's a tall task. LIU leads the all-time series 24 wins to 11 losses after the win up at Sacred Heart earlier this month. And in the recent season series, it's been the Blackbirds winning 4 straight and 8 of the last 10. That being said, the last 11 meetings between these two have been decided by less than 10 points. So right now they're separated by 14, but I'd imagine that that number shrinks, and for Sacred Heart, this could be the do-or-die time for them in this game. Try and get a nice run in before the end of the first half.
Don't get run out of the building in the first half. They've played some great games, as you mentioned, over the years. One of the most memorable 2 years ago in the Northeast Conference tournament, going up to them and upsetting a team when really they really had no business upsetting them on a team that had a lot of transfers. You had really Joel Hernandez really becoming himself. That was the season where he became it, his then junior season before he got hurt last year. There's been some big rivalries. Sacred Heart had the best player in the conference, transferred out.
And even last year, Sacred Heart getting eliminated in the quarterfinals. They lost to the eventual champion Mount St. Mary's Mountaineers by 3. It was a game that they easily could have won and pulled off an upset themselves.
Frias, 318, fall-away jumper, no good.
Ooh.
A rebound, a collision, as you said, in midair between Lopez and Robinson. They're both okay, but wow, that was a big shoulder-to-shoulder hit.
I think Robinson got the worst of it, even though he's the one that got to the rebound.
Kenan LaRose with the ball, top of the key, Bats all over him. Over to Tucker. Tucker up top. Lopez. And back out to LaRose. Fall away 3, well off the mark. That wasn't even close.
Had the right idea, moving behind the screen.
And Augusto picks up the easy foul in transition on Tucker. Barnett back on the bench, by the way. I can't see. It looks like he's maybe holding his mouth or something. He might have gotten a little banged up there. Or could just be scratching his nose. Cannot see, to tell you the truth, but he's there. That's good to see. Oh, what a move by Augusto. Into the lane, floats it up, and he'll head to the free throw line. LIU by 16.
He really knows how to get up for a little guy. 5'11", and pretty much extends his head up above the rim, the way Allen Iverson used to as a little guard who can basically get as high as you can get without jamming it home.
Well, I'm not the biggest social media guy out there, but last year when he was thinking of going to the NBA, I followed him on Twitter, and he has all his videos there of what he's done. Watch some of those videos. They're incredible.
Yeah.
Some of the athleticism he has.
And he wears the number 3, which brings to mind AI, of course. That's a more modern reference.
Yes, that's it. Yes. Are they bringing back the big 3 this year?
I haven't
Remember
heard.
last year when he was in it? Played, I think, a minute and a half, and then I think he tweaked something, and that was it.
You can't just show up and play. You got to have a little preseason work before you get into game shape.
You know, and honestly, it was a great concept. Bringing back some of those old.
Yeah.
It was a cool idea. I just don't know how well it worked. As the second shot is up and good by Sean Hohen.
You could tell certain guys took it more seriously than others. Steven Jackson was playing like it was the NBA Finals.
Here's Augusto in the lane. Picks up the dribble. Oh, got away with a travel. Here's Hernandez now. Trying to make the move down the lane. Nice pass, no look underneath. Clark couldn't get the shot. Blocked twice by the underneath of the basket.
He's John with the official. He wanted a foul.
Tucker, what a dribble. Little fall away jumper is good. The most unorthodox move into the lane that you'll see.
And got away with that little push off, that little nudge with the shoulder.
That's just technically part of the dribble, so that's what his argument would probably be.
But in traffic, that's a great shot.
Sure was. Frias in the lane. To his right, Clark, thought 3, dribbles, pull up, free throw line jumper, little short. Penn tried to get the rebound over the back. Absolutely correct call.
Yeah, you don't mind it this late in the half. Still have one foul to give.
Just the first on.
I was looking at the wrong side of the scoreboard. That's 8 against LIU, 6 on Sacred Heart.
So it will be 1-1. Joseph Lopez, but if you're going to put the guy at the line for a 1-1, 44%. And he rattles it home.
See, if Sacred Heart could get it to 10, maybe 8, they'd have to be really happy with that.
Was 16. This would make it 11. It will not. At a rebound and a foul off the rebound on Sacred Heart.
It's easy to overlook Joseph Lopez in his final season, hoping that this isn't his final game. Was a third-team all-conference selection last year. Averaging 12 points per game, over 9 rebounds per game. He's one of the best big men in the NEC. Scored in double figures in 5 of his last 6.
Ural Penn, first shot good, extends it to 13. Again, very good news for LIU. Extend this lead as much as possible. Penn with one more shot. Off the side iron, no good. And the aforementioned Joseph Lopez with the rebound. With $1:25 to go here in half number 1, LIU 42, Sacred Heart 29.
Lopez, well-traveled, started his career at Winthrop. Eventually ended up at Broward College in Florida. He's a Miami native.
Back out, fall away jumper, back rim, no good. LIU the rebound.
Uh-oh.
And a travel on the rebound on Ural Penn. I tell you, not happy about Derek Kellogg jawing with one of the officials.
Anytime Derek heads to the end of the bench, that means he's unhappy. I've been studying him all year in his natural habitat. That's usually a telltale sign that he's not happy with the call. He's standing at the baseline right now.
Yeah, definitely not happy at all, as you said. Quick pass, Lopez. Nice feed from Hohen, and Lopez puts it up for 2.
And you know what? Robinson played good defense. Hands up, stayed with his man.
Hernandez responding three-pointer well off the mark. And here's that opportunity right now. 11-point ball game.
LIU just one of their last 8 from beyond the arc.
Tucker with the ball. About 15 seconds or so between shot and game, so LIU, barring a miss and a rebound, will get the ball back. But here's Hohen. Another back pass underneath. Couldn't feed it, though, in time to LaRose. Works it back out. In the lane, Tucker gets the man up in the air, puts it up off glass, no good. Rebound, and there's that rebound and out. And now Sacred could play for the last shot.
I thought that was 2.5 steps.
May have been 3. Tucker dribbling in the lane, puts up the move, and a foul on Eral. Penn bails him out with 4.6 seconds, and that'll put Tucker at the line to shoot 2. Tucker 62% from the line.
And I don't think it was the arm coming through for the block. I think it was more that the body was there and the offensive player ran into him. In this case, it's Charles Tucker with a chance to make this a 9-point game.
Tucker, first shot, good. Raul Frias in the game, obviously going to put a guard in, and 2 fouls on Penn. You don't need him picking up another one, but try and get a quick basket here with 4.6. Still plenty of time to really set something up good. Second shot, no good, but we're going to get a lane violation on LIU, and that means another free throw chance here for Sacred Heart.
I think Coleman left too early.
Not the kind of end of the half you want. You can see Derek Kellogg not happy with, obviously, everything in this entire end here.
That should never happen. The low post player, in that case Coleman, should not get a head start.
Again, the jerky motion of Tucker is probably where you're anticipating the ball coming out because you try to anticipate the shot.
So I thought they might take a look at it. They want to add some time. 4.6, getting 3/10 back because technically no time should have elapsed.
Right.
Better hope he misses this one.
Second shot, good.
And there's your 9-point game.
LIU needs somebody to inbound the ball here down the end.
Let's see what they do. Does Joel go across half court? He needs some help. Jay Sean's got to get it off.
Here's Augusto back. They were looking to get it to exactly what you were saying, exactly across court to the open Hernandez for 3, but the pass was behind him. The idea was there, the execution just didn't happen, and as you mentioned, Sacred Heart heads to the locker room as probably as good as they could be at this point in a single-digit game lead, but LIU still with the lead, 42-33, and outside the last minute and a half of the first half, a really dominant effort for the Blackbirds on both ends of the court.
Yeah, no question. I think the one area where you'd like to see a little bit more is on the defensive glass. They gave up 9 offensive rebounds off of some long misses. That was a problem on Thursday night, and we don't know where the Blackbirds are going to be on Wednesday, but we know they're going to be in the tournament, and that's something that has to get cleaned up. Maybe that starts with these next 20 minutes because it was a big problem on Thursday night. Fortunately, they got out of here with a win. You hope that Sacred Heart doesn't find that second half magic that they did on February 1st.
42-33, our score at the half. We'll be back with halftime statistics and analysis in just a little while. You're watching LIU basketball on NEC Front Row.
I am an NEC student athlete.
I will sacrifice to reach my goals.
I will not make excuses.
I will leave my comfort zone.
I will not be afraid to fail.
I will push myself to the limit.
I will support my teammates.
I will compete with respect.
I will make a positive difference in people's lives. I will rise to the occasion.
I will succeed in my sport.
I will succeed in life.
And I will enjoy every second of the journey.
It's time for the NEC 9, the top 9 plays from the past week in Northeast Conference hoops action. Tipping things off at number 9. St. Francis U's Mark Flagg comes up with this finger roll down low against FDU.
Out of a timeout, St. Francis very effective. Good pass.
Flagg showing patience.
Number 8. Great ball movement from Central Connecticut leads to this beautiful Kiana Patterson floater against Fairleigh Dickinson.
8 seconds to go in the quarter. Hines, a hard drive, kicks it out Forker. One more pass to Patterson, drives, floats, and hits. The teardrop from Kiana Patterson.
For number 7, we head to Loretto. St. Francis U's Jess Kovac knocks down this three-pointer and draws the foul in a big win against Robert Morris.
She is exerting herself on the defensive end.
Foul from behind, but count it! 3-point field goal and one.
At number 6, Wagner's JoJo Cooper finds Elijah Davis with this baseball-like pass for the layup and one against CCSU.
Batted out. Cole with 7 to shoot, trying to regroup. Down to 5 is 3, no good. Rebounded by Sumber. Here's a great outlet ahead of the field from Cooper to Davis. He hits, and a foul, out the 2, and it could be 3. Eli will go to the line. He has been a big boost off the Wagner bench, and the Seahawks up 28-21. So Eli Davis.
Coming in at number 5, Sacred Heart's Catherine Haynes finishes with the layup, and she draws the foul after a beautiful pass from Candace Leatherwood.
The miss by Leiden, but the tap back was a good one for Gardner. Pioneers come away with it. Down by 5, the lead ahead for Haynes. It's good at 1 as she goes crashing into the stands. And Catherine Haynes will go to the line with the energy play the Pios need.
Great pass. Started with the pass by Leatherwood. Eyes up. Great point guard skills. Passes up to Haynes. She knocks it down.
Number 4, Mount's Chris Ray comes up with this one-handed put-back dunk against St. Francis U.
Right. Here for Nunes. Now Antonio well on the outside. Antonio looking, finds Carey, driving, pull-up jumper. No, Ray throws it down on the rebound. He went up with a right hand, and he dunked it.
For number 3, we head to Fairfield, where Central Connecticut's Tiffany Slickline knocks down what proved to be the game-winning 3 against SHU.
Great play by Tykeer Carter. Haygood just didn't make the shot, in and out. I thought we was at the right rim, Randy. Just couldn't get it down to make the 3.
Tied with 7 to go. Here's Slickline for 3. With 8.6 seconds left. Tiffany Slickline, the freshman from Kings Park, New York.
Coming in at number 2, Wagner's Alicia Daly lays it up with this circus-like finish and draws the foul against St. Francis Brooklyn.
Front iron. Daly bounce pass to Russell, back to Daly. Fouled, and the basket for Alicia Daly. Been quiet all game, but Daly here in the 4th quarter. The freshman with a nice basket, great give and go, and basically a no-look flip up off the backboard. So Daly gives Wagner the lead.
And our top play of the week comes from Sacred Hearts' Davon Barnett. Pioneers and Blackbirds on CBS Sports Network, and SHU's Davon Barnett hustles back for this emphatic one-handed block at the rim.
Thank you, YouTube. Oh, what a rejection! Davon Barnett.
There you have it. Those are your top 9 plays from the past week in Northeast Conference hoops action. Fans, don't forget, if you see a great play, be sure to let us know by using the hashtag NEC9 or by tweeting us at NEC Sports. For NEC Front Row, I'm Kyle Turner, and I'll be back next week with another edition of the NEC 9.
Hi again, everybody. I'm Paul Dottino with this week's edition of the NEC Notebook, presented by Pilot Pen, Power to the Pen. LIU's Joel Hernandez grabbed the senior spotlight as the NEC Player of the Week. He set career highs with 30 points against Sacred Heart, then 32 to shred Bryant. He's second in the NEC scoring race at more than 20 points per game. The Rookie of the Week is Mark Flagg of the St. Francis Red Flash. They also got the league's first triple-double in more than 2 years when Keith Braxton put up 12 points, 16 rebounds, and 10 assists in the win over Fairleigh Dickinson. We're back on TV tonight with Bryant at First Place Wagner at 5 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. Then on Saturday, it's Sacred Heart against Central Connecticut at 4 p.m. on ESPN3, followed by Sunday's Wagner FAU clash. That's at 2 o'clock on CBS Sports Network. All other league games can be seen live and in HD at NECFrontRow.com, where content is always free. Follow the NEC on Twitter at NEC Sports, or check us out on the web at northeastconference.org.
And we're back here at the Wellness Center, halftime, 42-33, LIU with the 9-point lead. Talk about the NEC men's basketball tournament coming up starting on Wednesday. The tiebreakers right now. Wagner has clinched the #1 seed. That's set. We know that. Everything leads through Spiro Center. Mount can clinch the #2 seed with a win or St. Francis University of Pennsylvania loss. St. Francis can get that 2 and jump Mount St. Mary's with a win and a loss. So figure it out that way. Win and lose, each one controls that destiny. If they both win, then at that point, you go to another tiebreaker of what happens on there. St. Francis of Brooklyn can clinch a quarterfinal playoff game with a win or LIU loss. They can go high as a 3 with a win, with a St. Francis win. St. Francis, Pennsylvania, of course, because we're talking about St. Francis, Brooklyn, and a Mount St. Mary's loss. Robert Morris can clinch the #4 seed with an LIU win and St. Francis of Brooklyn loss. That gets us to where we are today. LIU can take the 4 seed with a win and both St. Francis, Brooklyn, and Robert Morris losing later today. FDU can only finish 6th or 7th, depending on where everyone else gets positioned. And Central gets the last spot with a win, or if Sacred Heart loses this game today. So Central will know what they need to do later today by virtue of the end of this game.
They might not have to do anything if this score holds up. And thanks to our friends at the league office for putting that together, because there have been times in the past different conferences try and explain their tiebreakers, and they do a poor job of doing it. They somehow bungle it, and this is mapped out as perfectly as it gets. So not only for us, but other people that use the NEC's website, we really appreciate it.
Right, and again, the tiebreaker is very cut and clear. You don't have to worry about the Jeff Sagarin ratings to find out what the tiebreaker is on certain situations. Pretty cut and dry. So again, a lot of movement still to be made, but we do know who the #1 seed overall is. And as we talked about earlier in the game, this league is so wide open once you get past the clear #1 that anyone can really move up from 3 to 7.
And to me, and Richie just spoke about this a moment ago before we came on the air, for any team, not just LIU, Brooklyn, or even for Sacred Heart, if they do get into the tournament, you want to stay away from Staten Island, although the Seahawks have certainly done a number there during the regular season over the years and have not had the same success in the playoffs. You also want to stay from Mount Mayhem, not Arena. Tough place to play. Really, any home arena is tough, but those two in particular, they have created quite the home court advantage over the last 2 years, and you're going to need a couple of upsets. If you're going to be an LIU, one of those bottom 4 seeds, you're going to have to win at least one on the road.
Sacred Heart starts with the basketball here in the second half. They will go left to right as you watch here on NEC Front Row, and a free breakthrough for Mario Matasovic. Easy for me to say on the jam. 42-35. Here's Raekwon. Nice move in the lane. Gets the friendly roll for 2. And LIU back by 9. Derek Kellogg not happy with the defense early on. We're just 30 seconds in, but obviously wasn't happy with the breakdown that gave the easy bucket, and now screaming on the near sideline.
I'm not really sure what he's looking for, but whatever it is, it's not there right now.
Chris Robinson. LaRose. Underneath. Oh, nice spin moves by Matasovic.
Well, we know the scouting report going in. Sacred Heart is going to try and get it down low and hammer it home in the paint. And they've done it so far on their first 2 possessions.
It's the same starting lineup as Robinson in motion three-pointer, a little bit short. Another rebound for Matasovic.
But LIU's kept pace in the paint. If I'm them, I'm looking to generate on the inside.
And Augusto picks up a foul. Oh, Hohen went rolling over, then awkwardly rolled on his right arm. He's flexing that right hand. Looks to be okay. He'll stay in, but wasn't a violent collision, just the way it happened. And here's Hohen to the hole, off glass. No, tip back up and in by Joseph Lopez. And just like that, this is a 5-point game. Hernandez, 3 to respond, and it's good.
Needed that. Absolutely needed that, given the fact that it was a 5-point game. And because the Blackbirds had really started to struggle from beyond the arc, that's a big-time shot from Joel, and he's up to 14. Every game this season in double figures.
Hohen spins in the lane, stops, defense breaks down, puts up the shot. He missed an easy shot.
That looked like a summer camp drill.
Here's Augusto to Hernandez, down the lane, pass, Coleman, one dribble to the hole, draws the foul, and he'll head to the free throw line.
Sometimes Joel doesn't know when to give it off, and right there he did. He realized that his move into the paint, that was the end of the line, and he found Jamal Robinson, or rather Zach Coleman, who made things happen on his own.
And Raekwon Clark heading to the bench.
I think
Julian Batts in.
I think that's a defensive move more than anything
right.
else.
Batts into the lane. Tough shot. No good, but he'll head to the line. Boy, does he take a walloping as well. And I agree with you that it was a defensive move, but interesting that he makes that great offensive move at this end of the court.
And Batts again, scoreless in the first half, only took one shot. He has been a much better second half player. At times, he's been the Blackbirds' best coming out of halftime, especially over the last 2 weeks.
Julian, first free throw is good. 74% on the season. That's going to get him closer to 75, especially if he hits this second one here, which he doesn't.
Had that big technical foul in the second half on Thursday. That does become a problem for him at times. But you could say that about any player. For the most part, he's pretty poised.
And here's great steal by Batts.
Highway robbery.
Laid it up, no good. It might have been touched just at the last second. Close to being a goaltend, but LIU's going to get the ball back anyways after the ball was knocked out of bounds. But what a play there to steal the ball, then turn around, accelerate.
And give Robinson credit for getting pickpocketed and not getting rejected, not giving up on the play. He followed it all the way.
Joel, step up three. Front rim, no good. Lopez the rebound. 48-39, 9-point Blackbird lead, 17:23 to go here in half number 2. LaRose, right wing three-point line. Robinson on him for LIU. Soft pass. Matasevic trying to back in against Joel, doing a great job. 6. Nice backdoor pass, though, but Hohen couldn't make the easy layup. And LIU wants to push. Augusto out. Robinson, right wing 3, no good. Tip back out. Robinson gets it back to Batts in the corner. 16:52 to go. Batts, nice move, puts it up, a block from behind Matasevic.
Right idea for both players.
Hohen, right wing, three-pointer. Robinson, good.
Oh, man.
Back and forth we go. Each end of the court. And finally, someone puts it in the hole.
Suddenly, Anthony Latina's got a little life on that sideline. They've gotten it as close as 5. And the Pioneers are starting to respond much better.
Coleman to Robinson. Dribbles to the lane, puts it off glass. No. Rebound. Coleman puts it back up with a right hand off the glass. 8-point lead again for LIU. 16:10 to go.
Again, Coleman, a monster on the glass. 7 rebounds. That was his second field goal of the afternoon.
LaRose down to Lopez on the box. Back out. Matasevic. Up top. Robinson for 3. Count. No good, but he's going to get the foul and shoot 3. That hit the front rim and went down. Looked like it almost went through from our angle, but that's going to be 3 free throws when we get back from this media timeout here with 15:49 to go. And, well, you hate giving up those fouls on the threes. Not the best foul to take, and Derek Kellogg having a chat with one of the officials. He's not happy with, I think, some of the calls that have gone on, and the official giving him time to kind of talk, and they kind of smile at the end and walk away. So it was more of a courtesy smile from Coach Kellogg as opposed to happy with what he may have heard.
Quick update from Teaneck. LIU Brooklyn women's team on the road at Fairleigh Dickinson, up 40-24. 2.5 minutes into the third quarter. The Blackbirds trying to halt a losing streak, trying to inch closer to 500 against the Fairleigh Dickinson team that's 15-11. And I remember going there last year to call that game and it was not pretty. So the fact that the Blackbirds are in this position right now, up 18 now with 7:22 to go, that would be a nice boost for them in the late stages of their season.
Yeah, really great to see. Big things coming up for that team over the next few years. They're really starting to gel together in another year. Interesting how they're doing the women's tournament this year with those 2 pods at the 2 higher seeds.
I know Richie doesn't like it.
I was here when they did the first one all the way back. I believe it was in 2007 or 2008 when the Wellness Center hosted the entire tournament back then, which was great. They hosted the first 2 rounds, and then they moved the home one to the final, to the home game. Free throw up and good for Chris Robinson.
Robinson with 4 quick ones in this second half.
Make it a 6-point game. With this one and one more, it can get down to 5. That's as close as it's been here in the second half.
LIU led by 17 with 2:38 remaining in the first. A lot has changed since then.
One more shot out of the 3, and he put all 3 of them down. So that's like a made 3-pointer, 50-45. It's a 5-point lead for LIU.
And a 21-9 run for the Pioneers since then.
Frias open for 3, but the defense got right there. Tucker got all the way out on him. Here's Joel. Lost the basketball right to Tucker. Tucker to Robinson, to the lane. Too strong, but tipped back up. 4 bounces, no good. All the way out to LIU on the rebound.
Oh, what a pass.
Augusto off the glass for 2.
How about Jamal Robinson with the upcourt vision?
Tucker all the way back, and Robinson's going to pick up the foul at the other end. But what a pass. Perfectly in time. And Augusto with an incredible layup.
Jamal Robinson called for his first foul. That's number 3 on LIU. And after the whistle, Derek Kellogg telling him, go up, don't go down. Try and stay with your man going up for the shot.
Tucker having a nice game now. This is 8 points for him. Charles Tucker Jr., who ironically is a senior.
Hoping to extend his career for a few more days.
Second shot is good. The one thing to do that, however, they need to win this game, and they've again brought this back to a 5-point deficit. 52-47 LIU, 15:08 to go in the second half. Jay Sean up top to Frias, waiting for Hernandez. Back out, top of the key 3. Frias, front rim, back rim, no. And Sacred Heart with a rebound. They can cut it to the least it's been since the first half. Tucker, baseline, inside to Hohen, off the glass for 2. What a great first pass, and then a second pass to make it an easy deuce.
Just like the first meeting up in Fairfield, 16-point deficit cut down to 2. Now 17 becomes 3 here in Brooklyn.
Hernandez wanted to penetrate, couldn't. Now works in the lane, spins around. Tough shot is up and good. Are you kidding me? No call either on a little bit of contact at the end. How he got that up, I didn't think I had a chance.
When he takes over, he makes it happen. He hit that big 3 from the wing earlier in the half.
Anasiki puts it up, no good. Side rim rebound brought down by Coleman. Jay Sean coast to coast, flips it up, too strong. Had to go around a block, so there's really no way he could ever put it up any other way. But they do find Anasiki down low. A nice look by Hohen, who is double-teamed on the hash mark on the far side.
You know, for all the good that Coleman's done defensively, right there he had a miss. And it's happened a couple of times where that breakdown's come underneath. The one that we saw way more of earlier in the season.
54-51, 3-point bowl game, 3-point lead for LIU. Hernandez works the lane down to Augusto in the corner for 3. No good off the back rim. And a foul in the defensive end on LIU. Is this on Coleman? And it is. That's just the second on Zach Coleman with 13:24 to go. So got to start looking at some of the foul situations for each of these teams. Bats has 3 already. Penn and Van Sowers each have a couple. And now Coleman just picked up his second.
And Agosto's got 2 as well. 4 fouls for LIU with 13:20 to go.
Tucker. Anasiki back to Tucker again. Right side of the lane. Works to Lopez. Puts the left-handed shot up. We have a 1-point ball game, 54-53.
Pioneers getting 11 from Lopez, 10 from Hohen, Robinson and Tucker with 9 apiece.
Clark with the basketball. Raekwon Clark, quiet today, dribbling in the lane, puts it up. No, but he's going to head to the free throw line. I believe they're going to say this is on the floor. Going to say he was in the act of shooting. I believe it was, but sometimes they can kind of call it a little earlier. It's not said he was in the act of shooting. Just the second foul on Anasike.
Clark coming off his 3rd double-double in his last 5 on Thursday night, and he did most of his work at the foul line, 12 out of 18. He also had a career-high 14 rebounds in that game. So when you say quiet by his standards, he now has 12. That's a quiet day for Raekwon Clark.
Yeah. Again, he can sometimes have those spurts where all of a sudden he hits a lot. He's been very just kind of chugging along. Not to say bad, but just quiet for his standards. Tucker spinning, triple team in the lane, back out. Robinson, 3, off the mark. Rebound brought down by Augusto. 3-point lead. Jay Sean to his right. Frias for 3. Good!
That's why he's in there. And again, they found the trailer. Raul kind of hangs and waits and steps into his shot. That was a beauty.
Nice pass to Hone inside. No good, but Lopez the rebound. He'll have to finally whip it out to Tucker in a reset with 25 on the shot clock. That was a tough shot by Hone. Tucker was in the right place, right time.
12 offensive rebounds for the Pioneers. They have doubled the Blackbirds on the offensive glass.
Here's Tucker on the right block. Working on Penn. He just lays it up and in. Not much Penn can do right there. The height is there, but as you mentioned, the body weight difference is definitely seen right there. Just look at the leg size, the arm size. That's something, again, Penn's going to grow into this body and be the kind of player Tucker probably is.
But
probably much better athleticism.
Watching him on that play, he had one arm down, one arm up. He did everything right.
Nice pass to Hernandez behind the defense, but he picked up a foul on Sacred Heart when we get back from the media timeout. 11:10 to go here in the second half. Things have gotten interesting. 59-55 in what was once a 17-point game. It was as low as 3. Now LIU with a chance here to extend it back up and kind of retake control of this game from this point forward. And I think this is the point you have to do it. You don't want to let this Sacred Heart team kind of just sit around because they've shown that they can get a little spurt like they did at the end of the first half.
Well, the good news for LIU Brooklyn is that they're not turning the ball over. They have been careful with it in the half court, but early on there was such a wide discrepancy in shooting where the Blackbirds were up over 60% at one point and Sacred Heart was way off that number, and now it's kind of leveled off. LIU still at 49%, Sacred Heart at 40%. They both attempted 49 shots. The Blackbirds have hit 24. The Pioneers have hit 20. LIU continues to generate looks from the outside. I'd still like to see them get it into the painted area more.
Yeah, they're really taking a lot of those longer shots, and credit the fact they're hitting them. Joel with the first three-pointer coming out when they really needed to have it, and then the one in transition over here by Frias. But they've got a chance to put the ball down low. Are you a little worried about the foul situation at this point, though? A couple of these guys with 2-3 fouls, you don't want to lose the rotation. Maybe that's the thinking here, try to push it down low because you are going against a little bit more physical team.
Well, two guys in particular that I worry about are Joel Hernandez and Raekwon Clark. They've been called for a lot of offensive fouls this season, particularly Raekwon. So I think those would be the two guys you watch. The other three on the floor, not so much.
Frias in the corner takes the 3. Too strong. Rebound brought down by Coleman for Sacred Heart. And Tucker up the near sideline.
A lot of room for Frias in this one. He's hit a couple of threes.
Tucker to the far sideline. Frias all over him. Stays with him. And traveling. Great defense by Frias right there.
Which is what he's given you this year. He's had a couple of games where he's come in and maybe he's made a boneheaded play, a little rusty coming off the bench, and then he redeems himself right away. And off the missed three, he comes back and stays with his man, Tucker, forced into the travel.
Well, Derek Kellogg told us that in one of the post-game talks about Frias, how he learns from his mistakes. Hernandez, tough shot on the baseline in traffic, and he puts it down for two. Joel with 18. With 10.5 to go here in regulation.
He's led them in scoring 19 times, and the Blackbirds are 12-7 when he's done that. He's well on his way in this one with 18.
Tucker to Lopez on the block. Double team, Frias.
Good switch.
And Clark there. Tucker back. Tucker on Clark. Puts it up. Rolls over the top of the rim and falls through.
Lopez has perfected that little left hand. Very quick, very sudden. And it comes out. You got to have the touch, and he's done it a couple of times.
Yeah, not even a hook. He gets that ham, even with the rim. It's almost like a line drive, but it floats. Clark, baseline, trying to go to the hole, draws the foul. And Asiki's third personal on that one there, so foul's starting to mount up for Sacred Heart. And Asiki with 3, and Robinson with 3 for Sacred Heart. Out to Hernandez with 20 to shoot. Joel in the lane. Not going to count the shot. It went. But it will be a foul on Kinnan LaRose.
He's feeling it. You could tell he's feeling it. And he's turned it over only twice. But the moves are there today, and the shot from so many different angles has been there for Joel.
And he also knows this could be the last time he plays here. Into Hernandez. Joel, strong bounce, backing up, puts a tough shot off glass. No good. And a rebound.
Clapping in front of the official.
And Asiki with a rebound.
Can't be doing that.
Tucker, nice behind the back pass. Lopez, fall away jumper. No good. Raekwon Clark with a rebound. What a great pass. Just couldn't finish it off.
Hello, Jason Williams with the old wraparound.
I think Tucker was almost surprised. He was so open for the shot. I think he didn't realize how good it was going to be. And Tucker with a block after the foul. But going back to that pass, it came to Tucker. I think Tucker was even shocked that it got there so quickly, so perfectly, and he was so open. His delay caused him to miss that shot.
So Tucker's called for his third. Number 7 on Sacred Heart. Blackbirds had another interesting night at the free throw line on Thursday. Much better in the first half. They were 13 out of 16. And then in the second, they went 11 for 19. That's one of the reasons why the Terriers were in that game for as long as they were.
Julian Batt's going to step back in here. And Raul Frias, who really, you mentioned it, defensive end of the floor has been spectacular in this game. A big factor in the 30-second shot clock violation in the first half, and then that last possession, all his defense.
And this has been the story for this Sacred Heart team. A lot of tight games, especially in conference play.
Lopez, tough shot off glass. No, his own rebound, another offensive rebound, and another putback for Lopez. 17 points, his 10th rebound of the game.
That's another guy, a senior, who's hoping that this is not his final game. He's laying it all out on the line. Lopez has been a monster.
Agosto, Hernandez, top of the key, 63-59. Dribbles left, makes the move to the hole. Tough shot blocked, and it goes back off Hernandez, out of bounds. Otherwise, it would have been LIU ball, and frustration is starting to set in a little bit with Joel, as you mentioned.
That's really one of the few times where Kinnan LaRose was able to stay with him. Hernandez, when he's had that one-on-one matchup, has often crossed over and drove the lane. And LaRose stayed with him that time, getting that fortunate bounce off Hernandez. Again, Sacred Heart has a chance to make this a one-possession game.
63-59, 4-point lead for the Blackbirds with 8:26 to go. Lopez, right wing, three-pointer. LaRose, good. It's a 1-point game again, 63-62, 8:11 to go in regulation.
That is the first field goal for LaRose. 2 big plays.
Nice pass down low to Clark, and Clark free for the 2. LIU's responded every time.
Yep.
This has gotten close.
Got to shore up defensively.
Right wing, three-pointer, no good. Matasovic, 34% for the big man, so he can take it. Now Augusto pops to Hernandez. Back to Augusto in the corner. Steps free. Little floater from 12 on the baseline is good for 2.
Beautiful exchange between Joel and Augusto.
Tucker free off the glass. No good. Tip back up and in by Matasovic.
Again, that can't happen. 14th offensive rebound for the Pioneers. 15, make that 17-4 in second chance points.
67-64. 3-point lead for the Blackbirds. 7:06 to go. Hernandez top of the key. Step back, fires a 3. Good! And Joel puts up the hush mark with the shh after the shot. Starting to really feel it now. 6-point lead for LIU.
Yeah, when you do something like that, you've got the defender guessing. LaRose thinking he was going to drive, and Hernandez popped it. Third 3 for Joel.
Tucker gets free inside. Tough shot. No good. Coleman the rebound. Now LIU with a chance to extend. Jay Sean, right wing 3-point line. Spinning. Bad pass. Oh, we're going to get a foul and get bailed out. Sacred Heart.
Pass interference. That's exactly what that was. On Sean Hohen.
Yeah, getting a hold on the arm. So Sean Hohen picks up the foul, and LIU keeps the ball. And I believe that was, the 8th foul on Sacred Heart. So that'll be 1-1 when we get back from this media timeout. 6:27 to go. And, boy, what a turn of events for LIU in the last few minutes. You mentioned it, stepping back on the defensive end. The only real breakdown was that one offensive rebound put back up and in. And after that, they've done a really good job on the defensive end of the floor.
I think that's the only thing that concerns me. We talked about it coming out of halftime, is cleaning up their rebounding. Sacred Heart known as being a good rebounding team, but the Blackbirds lately have given up too many second chance points. That could really hurt them come tournament time. And I think it also ties in with their lack of success defending the three-pointer at times, where they don't have a lot of length. You and I went back all the way to one of our first broadcasts, talked about how they really didn't have that plotting center in the middle like Anurazana. And in a game like this, that has come to the forefront at times.
Well, you see what Lopez has been able to do down low. You see what Mario Matasovic has just done recently down low. They don't have that big bruising body. You would hope that someone like Cisse may have developed into that, but he has not played this season. They didn't have he didn't turn to what you had. I mean, even in past years, you had Glenn Fadenga you could put in. You know, again, guys who coaches would call, bangers, guys that with a big body to put in there who are going to get you 5-10 minutes and soak up a couple fouls, maybe give you a few points here and there, maybe shine a couple big minutes, just like Fadenga did. Fadenga had some good games for LIU as a role player over his 4 years. They haven't found that guy right now to get in there, and that's where they need to find it.
And the number of alerts I'm getting now with all these college basketball bombshell allegations that are coming out, it's going to be a very weird few weeks coming up.
We love college basketball. We love the tournament, but reading some of the news that's going on, and look, let's not kid ourselves. In the major programs, mid-majors are completely different. The major programs, we know things like this go on. They've gone on for years. The great John Wooden had himself some favors done over the years. You can look that up. We're not going to run through it, but when it finally gets caught up to this level and you hear some of the names, it's been a very shocking week for college basketball.
Great take from Clark.
And Clark fouled in the backcourt before he could get on his way. Now, is that a clear path foul?
I think you could very well make the argument that he would have been off to the races. They're going to take a look at it.
And I think they need to here because it looks like he would have been off.
And that's the second straight foul on Hohen.
Again, for anyone who doesn't realize it, the clear path foul means the free throws and then retain possession as well. Not a technical issue, like an intentional foul or one of those where...
You know, one staple of Sacred Heart's game is the fact that they not only commit the most turnovers, but they also force the most in the NEC, and they have not done that today. The Blackbirds playing one of their most careful games of the year, and still they've only turned it over 4 times.
Yeah, they've really done a great job. But you talked about there the second chance point, 17-4. Wow, 9 minutes to go out in Teaneck. And LIU women lead 48-29 against Fairleigh Dickinson. They can hold on to that. That's a heck of a win.
You're not kidding. And this one's for Richie. Yankees and Pirates tied at 1 in the top of the 7th. And Grapefruit leading action.
Oh. Raekwon Clark to the free throw line. Yankees are going to be something else this year, as the first shot is up and good.
Mets are getting doubled up by the Cardinals 10-5 in the top of the 6th inning.
Mets with a nice opening win yesterday. Clark's second shot up and good. And LIU back by double digits here, 74-64.
Big swing. Big time swing in LIU's favor.
And not crunch time, but big defense time for LIU to try and put this game away.
11-2 run for the Blackbirds.
Here's Hohen outside the three-point line. Works over to Coleman on the elbow. Coleman playing with 3 fouls. To his left. Matasevich down to Lopez, who can't get it to fall, but Coleman gets the rebound. LIU's Coleman gets the miss off of that another offensive rebound. And now LIU will milk some clock here, up by 10. Coleman works down to Raekwon Clark. Clark, baseline, dribbling, stripped. Taken away by Matasevich. And here comes Hohen. Hohen, strong move, almost lost the dribble.
He was going in hot.
Works it over to Lopez. The baby hook, no good. The rebound tipped up but caught by LIU. Nice back pass.
Whoa.
An offensive foul called on Jay-Sean Augusto after the quick pass. He went back to bats, no look, and then smashed into Hohen. That's the third.
Yeah, that was no look on the pass and then no look on the route, running right into Robinson and trucking him over. And Robinson hurt his left hand on the play.
My apologies. Robinson on taking the charge, not Hohen. But Robinson is still going to continue on here. 10-point lead for LIU. 5 minutes to play. Sacred Heart could be the last 5 minutes of their season. They need to win and they need help. And they get a little help here with a foul all the way out beyond the arc.
That's number 4 on Jay-Sean.
Yeah, so Augusto picks up his 4th. That's just the 6th on LIU. So now Sacred Heart shooting on the next foul. Both teams in the bonus the rest of the way.
The senior Jamal Robinson takes his spot. You've got all 3 seniors on the floor. Great pass.
Robinson, left wing 3, big 3, 74-67. 7-point game, 4:40 to go in regulation.
Robinson up to 12. He's 3 out of 6 from beyond the arc. Most of his points coming since the second half started.
Hernandez to Clark, baseline, trying to dribble in, floats it up. No, they will say foul before.
That's the second or third time that's happened where the shot was waved off and the bucket did not count.
And did we get a little knee contact with Clark again?
I think he did.
And he's flexing that right knee out again.
He hurt his right knee in the first half, and now
another
collision here.
Yeah, another collision with it. Free throw up and good. Big free throws for LIU here down the stretch. 75-67. Trying to put it back up to 9. In and out, no good. Lopez the rebound, so it remains 8 with 4:16 to go. Here's Hohen, near right corner. Up top to Coleman. Waiting for help. LaRose comes around. LaRose spotted up a 3, but couldn't. Gets it back on the give and go, but lost the basketball. Has to retreat. Works into Hohen. Great defense by LIU. Hohen triple teamed inside the lane. Where's the call? Finally get the 3-second call at the last second. That was 4 seconds in the lane. They finally got the call. LIU with the best defensive stand of the night. 3:52 to play in regulation. What a great stand at this end of the court for LIU.
Final media timeout. Sacred Heart has 3 minutes and 52 seconds to erase an 8-point deficit and salvage its season. Meanwhile, the folks up in New Britain are waiting word on whether they're going back to the tournament.
All right, the tiebreaker in their favor if LIU holds on. And for Sacred Heart, that would end their season. They would be done. No NEC tournament for them this year.
Central just about to get started against St. Francis Brooklyn, so you know that they're waiting on the word from us, and then they're going to make an announcement one way or the other.
Well, you may be wondering why you're hearing me today instead of Greg. We switched things up this year to great success. Greg's done a fantastic job. Recently, I've been promoted at my job. I'm now the new executive producer of the New York Mets radio network, which is a dream come true. Unfortunately, it's going to change my schedule up over the next year or so. I'm not going to have weekends and time to work, so I'm going to have to step away from LIU basketball after, which is now my 11th year being here. So I asked you, and you graciously allowed me to call one more game, and I really appreciate it today.
My pleasure.
It's been a lot of fun doing this over 10 years.
Yeah.
I looked it back up. Started out Valerie Nainima's freshman year doing women's basketball, and a chance to do one more today really meant a lot to me. I thank you. I really do.
It's been a phenomenal run for you, and I'm also a little bit sad, like we talked about yesterday. We could only do this together for one season. It's been a lot of fun.
Well, it certainly has, and you're in great hands here with Greg calling the games. As we get back to action here, as Batts puts it up off glass, and Sacred Heart with life still, 75-67. Hohen for 3. A little bit short. LIU the rebound, but taken back by Hohen and then taken back by Batts. Up ahead, Raekwon Clark ahead of the field, lays it up and in. He's fouled, and he'll head to the free throw line. 10-point lead for the Blackbirds. That was a huge offensive possession.
That could be it right there. Go up by 10 with 3:25 to go. And you can tell that Sacred Heart just had a lot of air and a lot of wind taken out of their sails. Just a great play. And Clark, as he's done all afternoon, hits another free throw. The schedule helped, too, for us this year. The fact that there were all those close games, especially in conference.
Yeah, it's been such a fun year. And as Hohen gets free and a defensive breakdown by LIU, again, keeping Sacred Heart in this game. 3:13 to go. They take a timeout. They have 2 left. LIU with 3. LIU in the double bonus. LIU will commit their next foul, will be their 7th, putting Sacred Heart in the single bonus. But this year started out with a lot of interest in what first Derek Kellogg would do and what this team under a new coach would do. And you lost so much leadership, but you had the ace in the hole this year in getting Joel Hernandez back. And boy, it has been fun watching him over the 5 years of what he did here. Obviously playing 4 of them, but the disappointment of him not being able to play last year, I think, has more than been made up this year in leading this team to a chance at a home game coming up on Wednesday night.
And I also think that depending on what happens in the tournament, you could cement a case as being the player of the year. If the Blackbirds go on a run and he's right in the middle of it, which we expect based on his track record this season, I'd say right now Joel's probably in second behind Junior Robinson because he has been the leading scorer since day one in the NEC. But maybe the Blackbirds can make some noise in the tournament, go on that deep run, and that could probably get Joel Player of the Year.
He would certainly deserve it. I mean, I believe there's a comeback player of the year if there is. I mean, by far, there is nobody else who would get it. I believe in him for what he has done this year. But his progression has been excellent every single year here. And, he came in right after that run. You go back to that run of the 3 straight Northeast Conference Tournament championships and the 3 straight NCAA team. And he came in here and had to kind of slowly work in because Brickman was still here and a few others, C.J. Garner, all those guys who were right just going away. He had to kind of establish himself, and it was him and Iverson Fleming, the duo together, and Iverson didn't get hurt, played last year. You saw him have that super senior year as LIU will work to get the ball in all the way deep. Full court press to Hernandez, and Joel streaks across the timeline. Dribbles behind his back. Nice no-look pass to Coleman. He'll work in the corner, trapped. Out to Batts with 19 to shoot. 78-69, 9-point ball game. Batts with a basketball. Works his way up top of the key, 12 to shoot. LIU content to take time off the clock. They'll give it to Joel. He'll work his magic. Down the lane, puts it up, foul. They'll head to the free throw line.
And that's disastrous for Sacred Heart because you took all that time off the 30, got it down to 5 seconds left, and then you commit the foul. Joel going there for the first time, but going back to the press, nobody, and I mean nobody, gets out of a double team in the half court better than Julian Batts. He's so patient. He never panics when the double team closes in, and he was the one that got it started.
Never panics, and then also is just so underrated in his dribbling skills.
Which is why you can live with him only having 1 point in this game.
Second shot good, Joel. Hits them both. 23 points for the senior on senior day, and LIU by 11 with 2:43 to go. Hohen, tough shot, good for 2. Here comes the full court press again. And just as you said, give it to Batts. Robinson free. Cross to Hernandez. Down the lane to Coleman. Puts it up. Fouled on the way. And Zach's going to the free throw line to shoot 2.
They're going to get Joseph Lopez for reaching in. That's his 3rd. Pioneers realizing with a 9-point game and 2.5 minutes left, they don't have to foul yet, but they've done it anyway. And the Blackbirds have made 15 out of 18 at the foul line.
Zach, first shot, good. Boy, that's a stat you'll love to see.
And for all the problems with the offensive rebounding and the numbers that they've given up there, the fact that they're shooting it this well at the foul line is a nice balance to counteract that.
Right, and free throw shooting has hurt them in so many games this season. Not tonight. 85% from the free throw line tonight. 11-point lead. Still a game, but it's starting to get late. Matasevic, free, down the lane, no good. Rebound, tip, control by Augusto. Up to Joel, down the lane, to the hole, lays it up and in! The exclamation point with 2:08 to go, and the Blackbirds by 13. Hohen, down the right side of the lane, no good, tipped up in the air, Coleman again. He's going to take it, give it to Joel, pull up for 3, no good. That would have put the roof off the building.
That would have blown up our headsets, too.
Over to the left side, open for 3. LaRose, front rim a little short. Tipped up by Matasevic. Hohen in the corner for 3. Short again. Rebound LIU. And it looks like Sacred Heart is not going to press with 1:30 to go, and LIU can start to breathe a sigh of relief here. They led by 17. They never lost that lead in the second half. It got to a 1-point game. And they're going to come out of this with a nice win on Senior Day. And we'll sit and watch with a chance to move up in the tournament. 3-pointer. The shot clock buzzer is good by Jason Augusto with 1 minute to go.
He was lined up with the hash marks as he let that one go. Remarkable range and nothing but net.
Hohen on the give and go. Lays it up and in. Timeout. Sacred Heart. Might be a chance just to get a couple of his guys out of the game. As unfortunately for Sacred Heart, their season is going to come to an end today. And they're celebrating in New Britain, Connecticut right now because Central Connecticut will grab that spot in the Northeast Conference Tournament. LIU, they'll have to wait a little while. I'll wait till the game action later today, as they need a couple things to happen, a win and then losses by St. Francis of Brooklyn and Robert Morris. St. Francis in the 3:30 game coming up at Central Connecticut. And ironically, that's the one tough thing, is that now that game for Central does not mean as much because they're in.
As the 8th seed no matter what.
Now, they could move up to the 7 seed with another win, but they are in the tournament, so there's still seeding possibilities. And you know what? If you're Central, do you want to be sitting there and thinking, you know what, I want to go to the Spiro Center, or I want to head somewhere else, possibly not Arena? I think you take your chances out in Emmitsburg rather than going up to Spiro, where they haven't been able to do anything. So Central still with that going for them.
I think right now, 3 through 8 playing with house money. Pressure's on Wagner as the number 1 and on the mount to try and repeat.
Coleman gets the inbound up to Joel into the front court, and Joel pushed from behind and fouled.
That's okay.
A little late frustration there.
You don't mind. Lopez, his career is going to come to an end. Matasevich, Robinson, Davon Burnett, Charles Tucker Jr., Kavon LaRose. A lot of guys playing their final games here today.
Unfortunately, Davon Barnett never came back in until now after that injury in the first half. And Zach Coleman gets a hand. 1 year here at LIU after playing those years with Derek Kellogg up at UMass.
It's a nice send-off for Zach. 2 great games this week.
Joel's second shot, no good. Over to the corner. Baseline, and we get a foul, and Frias going to check in. I wonder who this might be for. A big man with a smile on his face, probably?
Yeah.
And here it is.
There's that smile.
Joel Hernandez steps off the court, the senior on senior day, with the big game here at the Wellness Center. 26 points, 10 of 20 shooting, 3 of 7 from downtown, and a big hand as Joel takes a seat. Not for the final time, but might be for the final time here at the Wellness Center, but at the very least, he walks off this court as a winner.
Yeah, he said something to some people that are in the crowd today, coming from Teaneck, not too far away, so caps off an amazing home run for Joel Hernandez and the other 2 seniors, Zach Coleman and Jamal Robinson. But, of course, there's that outside chance that they get another 1, maybe 2 here if there are some upsets in the first round.
It's a good shot at that. You got to get to that 4 seed. That would really be the key thing. Set yourself 4, and you might have a shot to move forward. They're going to just let the shot clock run out, and that'll give Sacred Heart the basketball. And LIU will let Sacred Heart dribble this one out. 88-74, the score. Tucker 3 at the buzzer, good, count it. That'll make the final score 88-77. And the Blackbirds wrap up the regular season, and now we'll wait to see if they get a chance to come back here Wednesday night here at the Wellness Center for the NEC tournament to start in 2018. The regular season comes to an end. It has flown by incredibly. A big night for the senior. Joel Hernandez, 26 points, 10 of 20 shooting, 3 of 7 from downtown, 20 points for Raekwon Clark on 7 of 12. Boy, the quiet one with 26 of 7 from the free throw line. 17 points from Jay Sean, 4 assists and 4 rebounds. Zach Coleman, 8 and 10 in his senior finale. And we send it down to Greg Caserta, who is with head coach Derek Kellogg, as The post-game show continues here at the Wellness Center. And Coach Derek Kellogg with Greg
All right,
Caserta.
thanks, Ray. I'm here with Derek Kellogg after the final regular season game in your first year at LIU Brooklyn. It always goes by a lot quicker than when you first eyed the schedule. Can you take us through what today meant for you and for your three seniors?
Well, I thought it was great to formulate a relationship with two of the three throughout the year, Jamal and obviously Joel, knowing Zach for a long time. And, it's somewhat emotional even though, I haven't known him quite as long as some other guys I've coached, because I think as a group, these guys have given up a lot. They've competed every day in practice, and they're playing a pretty good brand of basketball. To see them guys be sent off on a victory, I think is very good for their their demeanor and also for what they mean to this program.
Does it bring you back to your playing career? Do you remember what your last regular season game at home was like at UMass?
Yeah, I do. It's always kind of symbolic that we knew we were kind of going to keep playing, so you were more interested in that. But at the same token, to have the crowd cheer for you, to give your coach a hug for the last time, I guess, at a home game is symbolic and also very sentimental. So I can imagine what these guys are going through. The great thing is we know we're playing in the conference tournament. We have a chance to hopefully advance and do some fun stuff.
From your eyes, your estimation, what's the one thing that this team possesses that could make them dangerous in the tournament? What's the one thing right now that you look at and say we need to clean that up first and foremost before we get ready for next week?
Well, I think we're a pretty mature team at times. It seems like we can put our head down and get to the free throw line, get to the rim, score the basketball. I think if we can clean up some turnovers and defensive rebounding, that'll give us a chance to get out and transition. And, if we're getting a lot of shots at the rim, that gives us a chance to obviously put them in and play better. But the guys, nobody's perfect. I think there's quite a few things that everybody as a coach wants to improve on. I'm enjoying the ride with this team. I think they've been great. I love the crowds we've had at home the last couple games, and I think people are getting interested in LIU basketball.
It's been fun to watch. You talked about how much fun this team's having. Final question, just out of curiosity, first few minutes of the second half, when you were stomping your feet, what was going on defense that you saw that wasn't happening?
I mean, it was Raekwon, not to, I don't want to pick on a guy, but I think, I think he's got more in his tank. And I want him to be a special player on both ends of the floor. He's getting 20 points and 7 rebounds, and I'm still pulling my hair out over there. So I'm trying to get him to play at a high level every time he's on the floor and be thought of as one of the top guys in the conference.
Derek, just want to thank you for such a great season. It was a lot of fun, and always appreciated your insight after game. So thanks for working with us.
Likewise, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Derek, thanks. Ray, back to you.
Thank you very much. That'll wrap it up from here. Our final score, 88-77. As I mentioned before, I just wanted to say a couple thank yous to all the people we've worked with in the past few years. Richie Kurlander, thank you for helping out with the engineering over their time. As Greg jumps back on here for a second, thank you very much for really a wonderful year working with you and wonderful times that we've had. Greg Fox brought me here back in 2007 as an assistant to work with Joey Waller, who now calls the games over at Wagner. We've had a great time over the years. It pains me to not be coming back here again after this, but unfortunately my job calls and things move on. But LIU's in great hands with you going forward and with the way it is. And, maybe I'll sneak in here or there if you don't have someone. I got a night off. I might have to sneak up here and rip the headphones off for a few minutes.
I don't think we're going to have a choice there. I think that has to happen, and I hope it happens as soon as next year. It has been a phenomenal run. You started in 2007. You were here for the three-peat. You were here for a very special time.
And don't forget the women's team had Valerie
Yep.
Naima and 2 big runs to the Northeast Conference Tournament. And then the magical year a couple years later after Val had left when they made a Cinderella run and then lost to Brittany Hodges in St. Francis of Pennsylvania on this floor in the Northeast Conference Women's Tournament. We had some big wins over the year. I mentioned that going up to Wagner in the playoffs a few years back and beating Wagner and coming back here for that 3rd NEC championship in a row for the men's. And then that really, my moment I love, one of my all-time favorites, against this Sacred Heart team, going up to Sacred Heart as an underdog and beating them on their home court with the NEC Player of the Year was great. We've had a lot of great memories. You're going to have a lot more great ones going down, and I wish you the best. And I thank everyone at LIU, all the way down, Casey Snedeker, going back to all my SIDs, Dan Lopez, Sean Sweeney, obviously Greg Fox, who brought me here, all the athletic directors I've worked with, Margaret, also Sharon, who helps me out, my family who comes to all these games. It's been great. It's not about me, it's about LIU, and I'm looking forward to following you on and rooting on the Blackbirds the rest of the way. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Ray Martell, one last time from Brooklyn, Final score, 88-77. Keep scoreboard watching all afternoon. Couple of wins, and maybe LIU is back here Wednesday night in the Northeast Conference Tournament. We will see you down the road. Have a great day from Brooklyn.